Good morning, students. I am Pradeep Singh Yadav, and from today onwards, we are starting a new subject that is VLSI system design. And in this subject, we need to discuss in various topics that is represented in your syllabus. First of all, for covering your syllabus, you need to refer the book that is Neil Wester of Principle of CMOS VLSI Design. This one is your textbook. The whole topic is covered in this book only. So in unit 1 we need to discuss various methodologies that is used in VLSI system design, such as hierarchy, regularity, modularity, locality, system on chip, C of gates. These all terms that is mostly used in VLSI system design. So first we need to discuss about all these terms and terminology and methodology uh, in VLSI system. In second unit, the second unit consists various chip design methods. Some of these are RTL synthesis method, behavioral synthesis, EDA tools, etc. And the second part of unit 2 contained some capture tool such as layout design, floor planning, that we often used when we design any circuit. At that time, this floor planning and layout structure are mostly used. Then the third unit consists then the third unit cover the topic that is data path subsystem design. In data path subsystem design, we have to discuss about some memory element, that is RAM, DRAM, ROM, and various memory structures, memory cells. And by using that memory cells, we design various type of multiplexer, shifter circuit, some combinational circuits, some sequential circuit. And in the unit 4, in CMOS subsystem design, uh, we will discuss some basic theory of CMOS, some data path operations, 0 1 detector, etc. And the fifth unit is memory element, in which we will discuss FIFO, LIFO, various technique that often used in memory elements. These whole topic covered in a single book, so you need to refer the this Neil Wester book only. The whole topic covered in this book. Okay, so this one is the first lecture of your VLSI system design. So in this lecture we will discuss some basic terms that we often used, or some basic of VLSI. First of all, what is VLSI? What is VLSI? VLSI In VLSI, each term has a some each term represents some each in VLSI, each term represent some abbreviation, such as V represent vary, L represent large, S represent scale, and I represent integration. The VLSI is a combination of very large scale integration. Now, what is the mean of this VLSI? VLSI is nothing but a integration technology. Now, what is the mean of integration technology? We all know that we all know that before invention of transistor, the size of the circuitry is very big. We can understand easily it by using this diagram. This one is nothing but a computer diagram. Perhaps it is abacus. That is the first computer which is used for the mathematical operations. So you can see this computer is of very big size, because at that time the transistor is not discovered. So at that time, for amplification of any signal, we used vacuum tube. Okay, and the size of vacuum tube is very big as compared to transistor. Okay, but in 1947 the transistor is discovered by three scientists. So after the invention of the transistor, the miniature of technology is introduced. What is the mean of miniature of technology? Miniature of technology means After the invention of transistor, we use transistor for implementation of any circuit, and we know that because of the size of transistor is very low, so that the circuit that is implemented by using transistor is also becomes low. Okay, so when the size of when the size of circuit is low, so in a small chip we can implement number of transistors. So when we connect number of transistor in a single chip, then the whole module structure is known as integrated circuit. So this one is the first developed integrated circuit that is made by Jack Kilby. Okay, this integrated circuit is made by Jack Kilby. Now what is integrated circuit? Integrated circuit is a circuit in that various transistor or various elements are connected together for performing any desired task. And this one is the metal legs. The what is the purpose to introduce metal legs here? Metal legs is generally used for the connection of outer atmosphere with the internal environment of the integrated circuit. Okay, so after the invention of this integrated circuit, we use several methods, we use several technologies, we use several development, so that the size of integrated circuit becomes very low. Okay, so after the when the size of integrated circuit becomes low, so that these technology starts is from SSI, then MSI, then LSI, then VLSI, then ULSI. In SSI technology, this technology is introduced in 1964. In this technology, the number of element that is connected in an integrated circuit is less than 20, that is 1 to 20. If any integrated circuit consists less than 20 element, then the technology that is used to implement the integrated circuit is known as SSI. When the number of transistor that is used in a single integrated circuit is in the range of 20 to 100, at the time that integration circuit technology is known as MSI. And same as when the number of transistor in an integrated circuit in an circuit varies between 100 to 1000, so the technology that is used to implement that integrated circuit is LSI. Same after it, when the number of transistor is between 1000 to 10,000, then the scaling technology is known as VLSI. So here we are dealing with the VLSI technology, very large scale integration technology. Okay, this VLSI technology is introduced in 1980. Okay, so when the technology when we move towards SSI to VLSI, so that the size of the transistor, size of the integrated circuit becomes low, and from today the technology today the technology in 2000 or in 2000, after the 2010, the technology that is used is GSI, giant scale integration. In mobile, for the connection of any processor or for connection of various element, today we use GSI technology. In that the number of transistor is in the range of millions in a single chip. Okay, so these are the founders of integrated circuit. These are the founders of integrated circuit, Jack Kilby. Now these graphs represent the integration circuit growth. In the y-axis represent the number of transistor, and the x-axis represent the year of evolution of circuit. So in 1970, 400 processor was developed, and you can see in you can say between 1970 and 1975, 8008 and 8080 processor is developed. After its successive years, some new processor are introduced, and the size of the transistor is regularly increases. Okay, so according to Moore's law, the number of transistor in a single chip becomes double in every 18th month. Okay, these graph represent that Moore's law. Okay, now what are the advantages and disadvantages of integrated circuit? Now here we mention some advantages of integrated circuit. This one is first one, it increase the reliability due to lesser number of connections. Second one is it is used it is very small in size, and the space, third one is less weight, less space requirement, less power requirement, low cost. These are the advantages of integrated circuit. But along with these advantages, some disadvantage also exist in integrated circuit. Some of these are: if any component of the IC goes out of the order, then whole IC has to be replaced. Okay, because we cannot change the internal connection of IC. If we not able to change the internal connection of any integrated circuit, then that type of integrated circuit is known as fixed ICs. And if we can vary the internal connection by using any programming skill, then at that time that integrated circuits are known as variable integrated circuits. Okay, now this one is the first unit of your VLSI system design. In this unit we need to discuss about some structural design strategy, hierarchy, regularity, modularity, locality, and so on. Okay, so in today's class we are dealing just the starting topic, that is structural design strategy, and the rest topic we will discuss in our next lecture. Okay, so what is structural design strategy? For the implementation of any integrated circuit, the process of design is very important. We all know that. From several years, many structural design techniques have been adopted for the implementation of project, and these techniques are having several common features. Okay, this strategy shows that when we need to implement any integrated circuit, then at that time we need to follow some basic strategies for the implementation of an integrated circuit. If the implementation technology are based on its structure, then these technology are known as structural design strategy. Okay, so now the use of various technique, these structural design technique reduces the effort of project implementation and find the conclusion is easily. If we find out the exact technology that is beneficial for our integrated circuit, then the effort of project implementation becomes low, and we can easily find out the result that is provided by the integrated circuit. Okay, now the second one is there are various techniques that are used for reducing the complexity of integrated circuit. If these techniques are based on structure, then these techniques are known as structural design strategy. Okay, so it means that in this topic means that we in first unit we need to discuss various design strategy, so that by using that structural design strategy we can easily change the structure of the circuit, and find a different way to implement that circuit easily. Okay, so then in this we need to discuss hierarchy, regularity, modularity, etc. These all topic we will discuss in our next lecture. Okay, thank you so much.